Johnson, please, and Mr. Alarico.
You can do that now. In 1 minute.
Yes, it was.
Or you end up your son is out.
Yeah.
What they started on the rain all. Well, they have
6:30?
Yeah, we have 6:30. We have it.
Yes.
Recording in progress.
Awesome. All right. Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if I could please have a roll call.
Supervisor Lkpt.
Here.
Trustee Dean Morelli.
Here.
Trustee Kieran Johnson. Here. Trustee Ron Alberico.
Here.
Trustee Dion Wright.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Jim Louch.
Here.
Assessor Marion Williamson. Here. Collector Latoya Turner. Here. Attorney Gary Mueller.
Present.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. Today is one of our favorite board meetings of the year, and that's because we're awarding our scholarships to our winners tonight. We did have a handful that were able to make it tonight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the podium here. Something I like to do is just read a little bit, a description from each of the winners, just because I really like to brag about you guys, especially to the board, and I think it's just really cool what you guys are going to be doing. And then what we'll do after is I'm going to read your name, and then we're going to I'm going to hand you the certificate. We'll take a quick picture, and then you're welcome to stay. The board meetings are super exciting, but if you have other plans and want to enjoy the rest of your night, you won't be able to sneak out. So that's that.
Just saying, right? We'll do that now.
All right, so our first winner, actually before I go into the winners, I do want to give a quick little spiel. I want to thank especially the board for making this scholarship program a reality. It actually wasn't too long ago that we were only giving out just 1 or 2 scholarships, and because of the board, we've now been able to increase the amount of scholarships to 8 this year. 8, $2,000 each, $16,000, and this year we actually received almost 50 applicants. So out of 50, we had to narrow it down to 8. And we were just so impressed with all of our folks here, all of our winners. And again, I just want to brag a little bit about you guys. But I do want to give a big thank you to the board, as they're the ones who approve this and grow the program every year. So, thank you. Okay, so our first winner is from Lkpt Township High School. This is Mr. Ian Allen. Whether it be in the classroom or in the pool, Mr. Ian is determined to lead. We are impressed with your motivation to become an educator who not only teaches, but also serves a guiding light for their students. We wish you the best of luck as you study secondary education and mathematics. We know you'll make a difference in your students' lives. Congratulations. And then, right here. Awesome. I'm sorry. I will say one thing too, as I was reading through these this morning, we have, I think all 4 of our folks tonight are majoring in STEM in some aspect. So I was a STEM major, so big props to you guys. Okay, next winner from Lkpt Township High School, Mr. Logan Fields, our future chemist. I did not major in chemistry. That was a harder subject. I really got stumped on stoichiometry. Is that still a thing, or is that old news? Okay, see, that was the end of me. But your curiosity to learn, combined with your discipline, proves you have what it takes to be a brilliant scientist. Your ability to challenge yourself in a variety of ways while giving back to your community speaks volumes Best of luck and congratulations. Quick picture over here. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I mentioned that we have 8 scholarships at the township. So the 2 I just presented is the Lockport Township Government College Scholarship. So those, we have 4 original scholarships. And so these are for folks that are in high school, that are going on to advance their education, whether that's through a trade school or college. And then we actually, the board created 2 new categories of scholarships. We actually have one, which is the next one, the Lockport Township Military Family Scholarship, and that goes to a student whose parent or guardian has served in the military, and also exemplifies many other traits that the township values, especially giving back to the community, and of course respecting our veterans as well. So our next winner is the winner of the Military Family Scholarship, and that is Miss Julia from Joliet Catholic Academy. Julia's heart is in everything that she does. The board and I were very impressed with your commitment to excellence and dedication to helping others. You lead with compassion and confidence, which will do you very well as you study radiation science with an emphasis with an emphasis of pre-med. Suspense. An emphasis of pre-med. We wish you the best of luck at the University of Oklahoma. Congratulations. And then last but not least, so this is actually another category of scholarship, and this one was just created in this most recent year. So some feedback we've received actually from many of our past winners actually is that there's many scholarships offered to students who are graduating high school and going on to college. But then once you're in college, I mean, the tuition bills, they only go up from there, right? The costs continue to increase. And yet the number of scholarships available to students in college that are continuing, right, going their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year, they're much more limited. And so the board, what we decided to do is create a scholarship for students that are currently in college and are continuing to pursue their education. We call it the Lockport Township Higher Education Scholarship. And our winner for tonight is Miss Melody, who will be attending Louisiana State University. Melody, your love for building and design is very exciting. It is evident that the more you learn, the more your love for architecture continues to grow. Your craft is complex, and we are so excited to see where it takes you. Congratulations. Again, I want to give a big thank you to our winners and their families as well. I'm of the belief that this is an accomplishment not just for our students, but also their parents as well. And the township is just so honored every year that we get to invest in our youth and the township's future. So we do wish you the best of luck. Again, you're more than welcome to stay to watch the rest of the board meeting. We usually run only 3 or 4 hours. But again, if you'd like to enjoy the rest of your night, we will not be offended. So thank you again, and have a great night.
Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
You can tell I'm a hug. I'm so proud of you. You can tell I'm a hug. You guys did awesome. Good to see you guys.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much for everything. Greatly appreciate it.
See ya.
Thank you so much.
Send him for them tomorrow. See ya.
Good.
Which one was it in their applications?
Yeah, I love to see them. come back and be like, hey, I'm back.
Thank you.
Oh,
You go all the way, go back to the beginning and did you try those dots? Oh, so never mind. Okay, you're on the share screen.
1 second.
Sometimes you just hit the person's name where the 3 dots are. Make co-host. And then they can share screen.
Awesome. Okay, all right, so thank you everyone. I also want to give a big shout out, warm welcome and thank you to our 2 summer interns. We have Addie and also Adam. So if the board can give them a little round of applause and warm welcome. They were helping us actually with the scholarship certificates, presentation, of course taking pictures, and then as part of their learning experience, they'll be here to watch the board meeting. And I wasn't joking when I said exciting. We do actually have some exciting updates from our 3 groups today on presenting on the Fairmont Drainage Project. We actually have some very good news, and construction will start any day now. But I would like to go in order. I'd first like to give the floor to our friends at the Kindheart Group, so that's Kate and Kathy. And from there, we'll give a chance for our engineers at ERA to give an update, and then of course we'll have Amy and our friends at Movement Enterprises to give an update on outreach as well. So on that note, Kate, I did make you a co-host, so if you would like to share your screen, I believe you'll be able to. So.
Okay, great. I'm gonna share it. Okay, perfect. Okay, give me just a second. It made me say okay to doing.
See, there's 2 Kates, so I'm just gonna make both Kates and then Kathy co-host. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, and my computer was making me give it special permissions for some reason.
Okay.
Open system settings, yes. Okay, let's try this again. Share. Share.
Okay. Yep, we can see you have PowerPoint open.
Yes. Can you see? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody. As you know, my name is Kate Gray, and I'm the Communication Director and Community Engagement Manager for Kindheart Consulting Group. I'm pleased to present the latest updates on the Fairmont Stormwater System Rehabilitation Project. After I am finished, I will introduce you to Marty from ERA, who will provide construction specifics on Phase 1, including implementation on Phase 2, which we are calling the Berry Avenue Project. And we will be able to answer questions as well. After ERA is finished, the next group you'll be hearing from will be Amy Sanchez and Willie Irvins from Movement Enterprises. They will explain how Movement Enterprises will help us facilitate reaching residents, outline the canvassing approach, the method of distribution of informational materials for Phase 1, and follow-up measures for non-response homes, success metrics, and reporting. Pre-construction was held on June 4th of this year. We are now cleared and ready to proceed with all agreements in place. I wanted to highlight that Saturday work has been approved by the township because it is critical to keep this project on schedule. No work will happen on Sundays or holidays, and no machines will run before 7 a.m. We have established 2 critical contractual targets with PT Faro. First, substantial completion must be met by September 21st of this year. This means all pipes are in, connections are made, and stormwater flow is established. Second, final completion is scheduled for October 23rd of this year, and this means that complete roadway restoration, site cleaning, permanent seed and placement, and sign-off to be completed. For residents, safety is our absolute highest priority. We are enforcing a rule that notification of a prolonged utility shutoff or driveway access limits will be at least 24 hours in advance. This will be done through physical door hangers and active community canvassing. Now, for the most critical security point, all rehab work is external. Workers from PT Faro or ERA will never ask to enter a home. We are telling residents, do not let anyone in and report such requests immediately to police and Kind Heart Consulting Group. General public inquiries will be channeled through Kind Heart Consulting, while technical, utility, and immediate engineering issues go straight to ERA and PT Faro. Flyers containing all phone numbers and emails are currently being printed for delivery to all residents in the project area. While standard public utilities will be marked via Julie, private utilities are the residents' responsibility to identify. This includes well and septic fields, pet fences, sprinklers, and backyard power lines. We need residents to flag these. Additionally, to avoid accidental damage from heavy excavation equipment, we require residents to clear all personal property like potted plants, lawn ornaments, and garden tools at least 10 feet back from the right-of-way edge. PT Faro will utilize comprehensive active flagging, warning lights, and barricades to safely route vehicles around the daily trenching sites. Furthermore, we are highly cognizant of the upcoming Juneteenth holiday. PT Faro has committed to leaving all work zones clean and consolidated and safe. And now I'd like to introduce Marty, and he will give an update for ERA. Marty.
I don't see Marty.
He's the other Kate, I know that.
I'm wondering, like, it's two Kates.
I know it's him.
You see him walking.
No, I think that's a
Okay.
We'll see if Marty can get on. I have bullet points that were provided from Brian Duzak, the construction manager. Let's see. Marty, can you get on to the meeting? Well, I can start just, being mindful of everyone's time, and all the other work that the board has to process after these presentations. As Kate noted, pre-construction was held on the 4th. The contractor submitted shop drawings for precast concrete structures, including manholes, catch basins, and inlets. Last week to ERA for review, so PT Faro submitted all their shop drawings. We are focusing our efforts on the downstream end of the PT Faro, so PT Faro can release orders for those structures this week, so they'll be purchasing those items. PT Faro's current plan is to mobilize and start construction between 6/22 and the end of the month. Once they receive enough structures delivered to the site, the work is anticipated to progress as follows: Fairview Avenue and Princeton Avenue West, Roslyn Street and Luther Avenue South, Arthur Avenue and Harvard Street, Princeton Avenue East, and Luther Avenue North. As Kate brought up, substantial completion by the 23rd of September and final completion by October 23rd. And I believe that covers the updates for Engineering Resource Associates. So please allow me to introduce Amy Sanchez, the Executive Director of Movement Enterprises.
Hi there, how are you all? I just wanted to make sure we got to introduce Ourselves, myself and my colleague Willie that you just saw on camera a moment ago, are spearheading this project. We have gotten an approved script. We have materials that we have reviewed and studied, and our canvassing team is going through training. As soon as we have a start day, we're ready to go. We have lanyards that will be provided, a copy of, that will just describe us. It'll have our logo as well as identifying markers. We have a training day that's already scheduled. We already started the prep, going over the initial information, but going over the script. And again, as soon as day one is ready to start, we are gonna, and we have the print materials in hand. We'll be starting the area. We have the phases, so we'll of course prioritize the first portion, and then let folks know exactly what to expect. But double downing that no one is, authorized to enter the home that's not having anything to do with our project. And I can go over the script if need be, but yeah, just prepared to answer questions and go over what this looks like.
All right, thank you so much, Amy. I'm going to open up to the board. I know that was a lot of info, and it's very exciting. This project will be starting very soon. But do we have any questions on this construction project at all?
Does the how far ahead of construction does the canvassing start? Just like a day or a couple days or the day of?
Go ahead, Ken.
No, Karen, they're going to go out. Amy's approach is to get out on the street, within 5 days of construction start, so 7 to 5 days prior. So she'll have the, she'll have the most current information that she'll be distributing. And so based on what we learned now with the redrafting of the construction or the final the construction drawings, the shop drawings, and then the ordering of all the precast structures, we're looking at a start time of 9/22. So I anticipate Amy to go out, and as she already noted, she's preparing her staff and doing the training. So they'll be heading out by middle of next week.
Okay.
And we'll give her the exact locations. As we said, we're going to start with the Fairview and Princeton Avenue, but ERA will give her the streets. So when she goes out, she'll be fully equipped and she's prepared to hit all the project area and the phasing that's going to follow construction.
Great, thank you.
Tion?
Yes. My question is, when you stated that the owner of whatever household would have to flag their utilities, would it best be with yellow or red or a certain color or anything like that? Because I know some neighbors have extended drains coming from their yards to the drainage to the road, ditches.
I think that those items are already noted by the surveying of the land and for the pre-construction surveying, so they know what drains are leading out. And some people created, if they created like a French drain, I don't know if that's exactly allowable, but it's going to fit into the current storm system. So if it's an existing stormwater drain that already leads to the ditch, then that will be part of this construction process. We're not going to sever anything that is already installed to service a house. If they created something different on their own, that might not be per code, and it may not be part of this underground conveyance system that we're putting in. So it might become obsolete based on the work being done, if that makes sense, because our intent is to take all the capture the stormwater and to put it into the conveyance system. So if that's an additional drain, it might be coming from their sump pump or something along those lines. And so that's not a coded use for that property. So that, that is a matter that would have to be.
And
not the responsibility of the contractor.
What's going to be distributed to residents is also going to be, that's going to be for the private utilities. It's going to point out neon colors are going to be suggested for anything that they like we listed the well and septic, the invisible dog fences, if anybody has any sprinkler systems or irrigation lines, anything like that they want to mark. We have it listed as like a neon flag or spray paint that's not the common utility color is what that homeowner wants to mark those as. Anything that's, what we want to get across is anything that's important that the possibility that may get severed in construction, that person doesn't want to get severed or possibly damaged during construction that's close to the right of way. We want to avoid that.
Well,
So
it's in the right of way, because sometimes we don't know where the right of way begins and ends. As people have been on their property for years and years, they moved all the way to the street and improvements, and that's on a public right of way. So what we're saying is, know your right of way, move everything back. We're keeping it safe, 10 feet from the street, 10 feet from the edge. You know your personal property and your private utilities will be secured.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Did
I
that
just
answer?
kind of somewhat, because I just wanted to let some of the residents know that was one of the questions. Like you said, the storm pipes are coming from their sub pumps and they're leading to the road, so a lot of those neighbors were wondering about that. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, if that's an authorized use and part of the drainage system, it will be included and remained intact. And so if they created an individual line, they may not need it any longer because we have the improved drainage being installed.
Understandable.
It's property debt.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, well, we have no other questions. I do want to give a big thank you to, again, our friends at Kind Heart, ERA, and Lumen Enterprises. And we'll touch base again shortly. But again, thank you so much. We're very excited for this project.
Thank you.
Thank you all for having us. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, all right, so that concludes our presentations. We'll move on now to business again with the regular Lockport Township meeting agenda. So the first item here is the approval of minutes. So I have here minutes for Town Senior, GA, and Capital Fund for the monthly meeting of May 12th, 2026. I will need a motion and a second to approve these sets of minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion by Karen Johnston.
I'll second.
Second by Dion Wright. Anyone have any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on now to bills. I have the following 4 sets of bills. For town, I have bills in the amount of $279,877.23. For senior, I have bills in the amount of $21,565.45. For general assistance, bills in the amount of $12,217.63. And for capital, $0.00. I will need a motion in a second. Excuse me, before we get to that point, do we have any questions on any of these sets of bills? Hearing none, I could entertain a motion in a second to approve all sets of bills, please.
So,
A motion by Ronald Rico,
I'll second.
second by Dion Wright. Madam Clerk, could I please have a roll call?
Sapien?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Alberico?
yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. We'll move on now to public comment. Do we have any comments from any residents tonight? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to reports. First report is the clerk's report. Madam Clerk, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Supervisor. The 6th Annual Community Fun Day was a terrific event. Thank you to all that helped in making it a success. We had a fantastic turnout. There were 55 participants and hundreds of people from the community that showed up for the event. I have reserved next year's date of Saturday, May 22nd, 2027, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the 7th Annual Community Fun Day. Please mark your calendars. On May 26th, United Way of Will County expanded the baby diaper program to now include 2 bundles per child instead of 1. Lastly, here are the clerk's office service numbers since our last meeting. Notary was 87, license plate stickers 73, and baby diaper bundles 108. And that is all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does anyone have any questions for the clerk on her report? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next report. Assessor Williamson, did you have a report for tonight?
I do, thank you. So assessors in Illinois have the statutory duty to discover, list, and value all taxable real property in the jurisdiction. So that means finding new construction and any changes to existing structures. Listing and maintaining a property record card on every parcel in the township, which in Lkpt Township is 24,000 parcels. And then valuing, for property tax purposes, all parcels at approximately 33.33% of its fair market value. To that end, this summer I have part-time field inspectors who are out taking front-facing photos of residential properties throughout the township. We have some areas that we have really, really old photos. We have some areas where we don't really have any photos. So they're going to be out taking just front-facing photos, so from the street, sidewalk. That way we can cover as much territory as we can. So there are 4 field inspectors working together in their assigned neighborhood. They are typically wearing a safety-colored T-shirt with Lkpt Township name on the front and Lkpt Township field staff letters on the back. They each carry a township identification badge, and on most days they're driving the township minivan. My field inspectors will never ask to enter your home. If residents see them in the neighborhood taking photos, if you have any questions, I would ask that you call the office. We're happy to answer those questions. But the field inspectors are not qualified to answer assessment or property tax questions. So that's the update on the new photos this summer. The final date for assessment changes at the township level is this Friday, June 12th. So that means any changes that I make have to be entered by this Friday. Any changes that are made at my level will receive a notice of revised assessment in early August. Those notices will be sent by the Will County Supervisor of Assessments. A property owner can ask for an individual review of their assessed value beginning in early August. The Will County Board of Review deadline is September 14th. Will County Board of Review has their own appeal process that is separate from the township review. I'll have more information and a one-page review form available in early August. Residents can call, email, or stop by the office for more information. We are expecting a factor of 4 to 5% on our 2026 assessments. Earlier in the year, the factor that was anticipated was higher than that, and that was because it didn't include the whole 12 months of sales. So with those additional sales, we're looking at about a 4 to 5% counting factor this year. And that's determined by the Will County Supervisor of Assessments after the township level assessments are closed. And then again this summer, the assessor's office is going to be closed to the public for 2 weeks in July, Monday, July 13th through Friday, July 24th. and will reopen on Monday, July 27th. We use that opportunity to take inventory, prepare for the appeal season. We do some staff education, and then some of the staff uses some of their accumulated PTO time. Because of the tax cycle that we follow, we don't always have a lot of time available to take PTO time. So some staff will also be using PTO time during those 2 weeks. And then in Closing, I just wanted to congratulate Cheryl from my office on her retirement. Cheryl worked for us for 23 years in a number of different roles and retired at the end of May, and we wish her all the best and the most fun in her retirement. And that's everything I have tonight.
May I have a small comment? I am guilty of that. I seen your people out and I pulled over and I said,
To ask them questions?
I said, what are you guys doing? Are you lost? Did you need help? And they were like, we're just taking pictures. I said, oh, okay. So I didn't drill them. I just wanted to know why they were stopped in the middle of the road.
Were they
They were in the minivan. So I want to say good job because I was like, what are you doing?
They did mention that because every day when they come in, I'm like, how was it today? And did did anybody have any questions? And they did tell me that someone offered them help. They thought they were lost.
I did.
Now I know who it was.
So yeah, but they did very well. Tell them they did very well. They were very professional. They were.
They're doing a really good job.
They are.
And we're really getting, by doing only front-facing pictures, they're really getting a lot accomplished. It moves very quickly compared to when we want to do full property pictures and measurements. You've got to knock on every door. It takes a lot longer. So they're getting quite a bit accomplished. I'm really excited about it. So I'll let them know that.
Thank you. And kudos that you had them all, Lockport Township, all over. So that was good.
They're very
Yeah,
recognizable.
so thank you. Especially in some of the neighborhoods. I was like, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the assessor on her report? Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann. We'll move on to the next report, and that is the building report. So, I do have a small update on the parking lot expansion. I wish I had a much larger update, but it essentially from our last month, I think previously we had met with the city officials, and by we I mean our ad hoc township parking lot or building report committee that includes myself, some staff, and then trustee Dean Morelli. We met with city officials, the landscape engineers, as well as the Will Group, who was the main engineer group spearheading this. We made some revisions to the plans, getting some feedback from the board, and then they've been making updates since then. When I last checked in with them last week, they mentioned that they had sent it over to the city for final review. They were making some final adjustments. And then I did get an email actually just this morning from the Army Corps of Engineers that the first permit they applied for was approved. However, there is still one final part that the engineers must submit to make the permit, everything just fully complete. So while I'm happy that there's progress, I will say I am a little nervous and a little disappointed that, if anything, construction should have started technically this week, the day after the Senior Expo, and we are still not going out to bid quite yet. So the committee and I briefly discussed that likely tomorrow or later this week. We've already been chatting with the city just to get their details as well, to make sure we're all on the same page, but we will be having a more frank chat with our engineers, just because from what was originally planned, they mentioned a timeline, construction timeline of 3 months. And so even if we're optimistic and this goes out to bid in the next 2 to 3, let's say 3 weeks, construction likely wouldn't start until early or mid-July, and 3 months from July would then go on to, now we're in October, and we want to make sure we're not affecting any other events. We did already reschedule or postpone certain events, like events from outside organizations like Limestone, Ronald McDonald House Cherries, but I want to make sure we're not getting in the way of any township events that we have later in the year. So we're going to have a frank discussion. I really hope we don't have to postpone this till the spring, but we'll have a chat with them later this week. So, any questions from the board? Again, as we get more updates, I'll be sure to share with the rest of the board. So moving on to mental health. So I did include a copy of the April and May invoice. I did include the April invoice in last month's meeting agenda, so I really only just reviewed that for May. So May should be the first one in everyone's packet. It's dated June 5th at the top left corner. So for the month of May, we had a total invoice of $8,278.07. And that was for our regular patients and for non-Medicaid, and then for Medicaid specifically, we had a total invoice of $1,638.00. You'll see there that the grant balance remaining is negative $29,099.18. That is because I did receive this invoice only recently, and before we do make any payments, we do have our finance team do a thorough audit along with the fire district of all of the codes here to make sure everything is on track. So once we confirm this, and then we can transfer payment for the grant balance as well as what was approved by the board in the budget, and that'll happen likely later this week or early next week. Any questions on the mental health program?
Alex, I just had one, not that it has a whole lot to do with it, but I see, they have, intake, and they have something like talking. Are these in person, or a lot of this done over the phone? Like if somebody, talk therapy, is that, as far as we know, is that just over the phone talk therapy?
Sure. Talk therapy is a specific type of therapy. It's like a process. It's not, all therapy obviously involves some sort of talking.
Sure.
Generally speaking, the vast majority of these sessions are done through telehealth. So there's like Zoom, just like we're doing now. It's never just on the phone. We do have a couple that are in person. The ThriveWorks team does have a special location at Silver Cross Hospital for those that really would like to do in person, majority telehealth. But talk therapy, medication management, those are just different types of like processes for therapy, right? There's like behavioral, there's talk therapy, there's like psychoanalytical, there's just different types. So talk therapy, I don't know the specific details, but I know it is more than just speaking on the phone.
Actually, that's, takes up the majority, I think, of the cases. It's just some type of talk therapy. I know we don't get any, like if it's going to continue for how many sessions or anything like that. We don't put a limit on it, right?
Correct. Yeah, at this time, we don't have a limit. I actually do have some data, and I'm happy to ask them for more updated data on, the distribution of sessions. I know going off the top of my head, but don't quote me, the vast majority of people average anywhere between like 4 to 7 sessions. We very rarely get people beyond that. But I'm happy to bring some more robust data next month. And again, as far as talk therapy, that's like a type of session. I can specifically ask ThriveWorks to give me more thorough details on, again, talk therapy and medication management. That's something that they should be able to provide. They're just explaining the general process. Any other questions from the board? Thank you. All right, so we'll move on now to the bus report. So for the senior bus, this past month in May, we did have a total of 465 trips. The buses were operational for 20 business days, averaging just about 23.3 rides per day. We then looked at rides over time. In 2026, we are now averaging 512 rides per month, which is slightly down what we had last month, where the average was 524. But so far for 2026, we do have a total of 2,560 trips, so we're averaging about 25.6 rides per day. I am also happy to report that both of our buses that were down last month now fully operational. We were a little nervous that they would be out for a month or so, but actually after I presented to the board last month, they were back and operational within 2 weeks. So both of our buses, all of our vehicles currently are, again, fully operational.
I got one question. Did you mention that warranty to them in case this happens again?
Say that one more time.
Did you mention the warranty in case it happens again? You said the buses were under a warranty.
Yes. No, we still have the extended warranty.
Okay.
And for one of the buses in particular, anytime there's any major changes to the engine, the warranty actually restarts.
That's where I was getting at with that one, because I'm like, in case it happens again.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Keeping a close eye on that. Thank you.
Hey, another question. I saw there was a bill for towing one of the buses. Can we get that reimbursed since they were under warranty when they broke down?
Yes, and we are getting that reimbursed.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Any other questions on senior bus report or department? We'll move on now to general and emergency assistance. I have 2 reports in everyone's packets. One is the system activity report, the other is grant disbursements. I will note that this past month we did have to close our reporting a little early, so the month here was a little bit shorter from just the 7th until the 29th. But otherwise, for that period of time, just a little under a month, about 3 weeks, we did have 7 folks apply for general assistance. 1 at the time was in process, and 6 were not eligible for general assistance. But then later, for emergency assistance, we had 5 folks that were approved. The total grant amount was $2,771.61. And then again, for grant disbursements, we see that that was paid out in terms of shelter, so rent, water, electrical, etc. But as you see, the total amount does match to $2,771.61. Any questions on the GA or EA reports? Thank you. So now we'll move on to new business. All right, so first item, the newsletter update. So for our summer newsletter, actually we just approved the final version last night. We approved the final draft with the designer, and then this morning or this afternoon, we then chat with the printer to get our final approval. But it has now been formally approved. It takes about a little under 10 days for this to be in people's mailboxes. So from the estimate we were given, I expect this to be in mailboxes by mid-June or end of next week, or again the weekend of June 19th. And then shortly after, around like early to mid-July, we will then start the process or the design for the fall newsletter, which will come out in early September in time for our senior breakfast in early October. Any questions on the newsletter? Next is an update on the satellite office. So I did want to give the board a quick update on the satellite office, which is originally supposed to be at the Ovation Center, hosted by Will County Senior Services. I will mention from, again, last month is, again, I want to thank our attorney Gary for very thoroughly reviewing the lease and getting us a very good deal on the lease. Before we were signing it, actually, Torma, which is our risk management agency, did come with a last-minute change to the lease, which we actually heard of recently, and to edit the contract. So what I'm saying is we actually haven't signed the lease yet, and that is when I had a discussion with Will County Senior Services, and then they sent out a press release. It's already public; folks who have already seen it. But the Will County Senior Services, which again oversees the Ovation Center, did file recently for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection as part of organization restructuring. This means they're not fully going into bankruptcy. They're going to take the next couple months to restructure everything. That said, if we were to move in, they claimed that they would honor the lease. We'd be able to move in and at the very least until the end of this year. That said, though, because this news is very recent, I would advise the board to just pause on this lease. Again, they're going through some changes, and we're not in a big rush to move into them. Again, we haven't signed the lease yet, so I would just advise we pause on this until we learn further from them and their finances. Any questions on that?
I did see that they did come back on, so I was going to have some questions in that.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
We never again formally signed the lease, and we don't have any new setup or any items actually at the Innovation Center. So again, I think we should just pause this for the time being. And then I have a lead or two on a potential alternate location on the other side of the river for a potential other satellite location, but we'll work on that passively the next couple of months. But I do want to reiterate, there was no money invested and there was no buy-in at all with Senior Services or the Innovation Center. I will move on now to motions and approvals. So we only have 3 approvals for tonight. This first one actually is just resolution number 2026-4. This was actually a resolution presented to us by TOI, and actually it was reviewed and partially completed by our summer interns, so thank you to Addie and Adam for that. But again, all this resolution is TOI greatly encouraging recommended townships to just acknowledge that this is the 250th anniversary of, again, the United States. And so I think given that July 4th is coming up, I thought it would be a good idea to just have the board formally approve this. Any questions from the board on this? So in that case, if I can entertain a motion then to approve resolution 2026-4.
So moved.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson.
I'll second that.
Second by Dion Wright. Madam Clerk, could I please have a roll call?
Sapien?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Alberico?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
The motion carries. Resolution is approved. Thank you, everyone. Move on next to a recurring item. This is something that we actually approve every year, but the TOI conference this year is happening on November 9th and goes until November 11th. We did actually just recently receive the application for this, but the spots for the conference and hotel just opened, and we like to book things pretty early as they fill up very, very quickly. So I think what we'll do is, if the board is willing, we can approve, lodging, transportation, etc., for up to, a number of, say, 12 members of the board, and then our township team and I can just email board members and ask if anyone's interested in attending the conference, and then folks can just individually reply.
Sounds like a plan.
Any questions on this? So in that case, if I can entertain a motion to approve registration, lodging, and transportation for up to 12 members to attend the annual TOI conference.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson, second by John Alberico. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Wright?
Yes.
Alberico?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Sapien?
Yes. Motion carries. Again, thank you, everyone. So now I have one more item on here, and it's an item for discussion. We don't necessarily need to approve anything tonight, but I did want to bring this to the board's attention. So I've been chatting a bit with, again, our township staff, as well as folks over at the food pantry. But essentially is the way the cooling system works at the township. And Trustee Alberico, you may have a better understanding of this as well, given that you were supervisor before. But my understanding then is that the cooling system is split between floors. Or, so, for example, the food pantry cooling system is tied directly to the cooling system upstairs, so I think that's the assessor side. And so the thermostat is exactly the same, right? So when the assessors is set to a certain temperature to make folks comfortable, well, down in the food pantry, given that again they have windows, large doors, etc., and then they have all their fridges and equipment, it makes the entire food pantry extremely hot. And in the past couple of days, they've had to actually leave the doors fully open. We've tinted the doors as much as we can to minimize the amount of sunlight. But the temperature, again, the past couple of days has been pretty rough. And so we did look into some quotes in the past couple of months as far as what a mini split system for the food pantry would look like, meaning the food pantry would have its own thermostat and temperature control for its section. So we did get one quote from Johansson and Anderson. The cost for their amount was $25,900, and then we got another estimate, and this is from Winters and Etchison Heating, also here in Lockport, and their amount was for $15,200. So again, I'm going to open it up to the board for any questions, discussion, etc.
I just wonder, with the requirements when we become an emergency shelter, part of that is the HVAC system we have created. And have you looked into at all what that means? Are all of these separate units that we have right now going to be replaced anyway? I just want to make sure that we're not doing something that's going to get replaced in the next year or two.
Good question.
And then there's no way to actually make it 2 zones without installing another separate air conditioning unit. I'm guessing you've consulted with them about that.
So the question is, again, given the EMA shelter conversion that we'll have likely in the next year, we'll need to replace the majority, if not all, of our HVAC. If we want to see if this would conflict with that, because we don't want to spend money that we'll then have to essentially cancel it out by redoing the work at a later time. So we don't want to invest in this and then replace the HVAC the year after. Is that?
Yeah. Or if we know what we're going to end up with, is there something we can do that would better play into that without any wasted money?
I don't know the answer to that, but I am happy to get answers from our building maintenance team and then also speak with folks from the EMA grant as well. I know HVAC, there is a certain requirement that the EMA shelter must meet, and we in general just do need to replace our HVAC just due to its age. But that is a very good question, so I'm happy to get answers on that. Any other? Yes.
My question is how long would the food pantry be up and running with people retiring?
So, okay.
Yeah, I was just like, they're going to still need to be there.
Yeah, that is a good question. The question is, how long will the food pantry be open with many of their folks retiring? So I guess that leads into a food pantry update. And Trustee Johnson, I'm not sure if you wanted to explain a little bit on the details, but just to be frank, once again, there's still not much progress, unfortunately. We've just found there to be many inconsistencies and legal challenges when dealing with their bylaws that would make, an acquisition or a merger to be very challenging, and we want to make sure that the township is in a very safe and legal spot so that, obviously the food pantry is a great program we want to continue, but we also we need to protect the security of the township, right? We want to prevent any lawsuits. That said, we don't, unfortunately, I can't give you a timeline as to, what this food pantry will look like, any potential change in leadership. There is no timeline, unfortunately. But I will say, though, again, with the food pantry being there, whether it's the township running point on it or another entity or other folks, again, our hope is that they'll stay there. And if it's someone else, either way, the challenge remains the same, and that's the big temperature difference between the first and the second floor. So that's what I can say. Karen, do you have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, that we're continuing. We had a longer meeting with Michelle a couple of weeks ago to just really look at, that we all feel for these people that have given so much of their lives to keep this running, and that there are people depending on this, so we're really trying to not have any kind of a break in service, but looking at the right way to go to it. So we're exploring another possibility that we didn't have on the table before, and we'll see where that goes. So we have another meeting scheduled for next week, and I'll update everybody as we know more.
Yeah, that was another one of my concerns, because a lot of people just depend on that food pantry. It's such a beautiful layout there, so keep it.
Yeah, but I do want to reiterate to this board that our food pantry committee that we formed, which includes myself, Trustee Johnson, and our administrator, Michelle, who's very much learned a lot about the pantry and has been working with her a little bit. And of course our attorney, Gary Mueller, we're doing everything we can to explore any possibility. Again, we very much acknowledge that this is an incredibly important program, and they've been open for several decades now. We want to make sure they continue. So we really are exploring every option, possibility, anything to make sure this stays open. Whether again that's through us or a different entity, we're trying to explore any route here.
I have another question. Are there any windows in the pantry that open? Or are they?
They're like these. I think the first floor down. I don't think these open. I thought some of them opened.
I have
just a
some that
little
open in my conference room. If they did open, there's no screens.
bit. Not much.
No. I mean, what about a portable air conditioning,
That's-
rolling, vented?
That's what I was going to suggest. They're
I
a
mean,
couple $100 and
save
they
a lot of
actually
money.
work very well.
They do.
400.
But you have to be able to vet it out of the window, but they have pieces that can
You
adjust.
can make it work,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know what's going on.
Just as a temporary, I know we're going into summer right now, and, now's obviously the time they have to do something instead of, like Karen said, putting 25 grand in something that might be eliminated down the line. I don't know if Dave or somebody can look into these portable air conditioners, how many rooms are over there, if we would need 2 or 3 of them, and if there's a way to get them vented. It sounds like it'd be like a good temporary fix if it can be done, so.
Yeah, might actually even be able to pick one up at one of the Home Depots or something.
Oh, yeah, they got
I
it.
think a temporary fix would be a great idea if, in fact, we do have to change the whole system with to make the, for the, what do you call it,
The EMA.
EMA thing.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah,
thing I
'cause-
had a concern of was, are both these bids following our fair bidding rates?
Sure. So the answer is, so one.
Is there a big difference in?
Right. No, I get it. They're both under 30,000, so they can go to bid. That said, Johansson and Anderson is union, while Winters is prevailing wage, but is not union. That is the big difference
They
there.
don't pay prevailing wage.
Right.
Aaron suggested
Do they have a safety program that our prevailing, fair bidding ordinance calls for?
That's a good question. They should, but I will double check. Thank you.
Aaron was suggesting the portable ones on wheels instead of trying to install them into the windows.
It
Sounds
the
really-
rolling units,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very
That's done.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they need to vent as well, but,
They're quick.
yeah, they have that kit that does that. I've got one, I've used them before.
They are.
The other thing though too, when you're talking to maintenance, we have all these separate air conditioning units and we replaced 3 or 4 of them in recent years and they last like 25 years. We've got a couple of them that should be going out soon, but that's the other thing is if we're replacing all the HVAC and it's gonna be one system, we could use one of those newer units to run the food pantry as well, to repurpose it once we're, the other system is done. But again, that's going to be a while, so that's why I think also the temporary fix. That I did start seeing air conditioning units that don't have to vent just in the last couple of months, but I haven't talked to anybody that's tried them yet. So you just you hang them on a wall, and they allegedly work very well. But like I said, I don't know about that technology.
Awesome. Okay. I think the board brings up some great points. In particular, again, the concern regarding the EMA shelter conversion project that'll happen, hopefully next year. And then, as far as temporary fix, I think that's very reasonable. Now that you all mentioned it, I know Joliet Township, they have no AC for their entire office, their entire building. I think they're actually taking half days this week while they're undergoing repairs, but they also, in the past couple of weeks, have had portable AC units, and that seemed to work out for them. So we'll definitely look into that. So I think in the meantime then, if we could just table this indefinitely. So if I can refer to council, is that appropriate? Thank you. If I could then entertain a motion to table indefinitely the mini split cooling system for the food pantry space.
Motion.
I have a motion by Dion Wright,
Second.
second by Karen Johnson. We're tabling, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So.
And I just have a quick question on that. Then if there is a way to vent and we can just go out and get, that's within the normal things of a, under $500 expenditure, you can just do that tomorrow if there's some kind, right?
Correct.
We don't need to approve that, right?
Correct. It's under, certain dollars amount. Okay, all right, but yes, we will be tabling we will be tabling the cooling system indefinitely, and again, I'll have our maintenance team look into portable AC units, and then we'll also look into the HVAC system under the EMA shelter guidelines. I hope to have an update then at the next board meeting, if not before that. Thank you. We'll move on now to old business and past events. I know the clerk did give an overview on Community Fund Day. We did actually recently have the Senior Expo earlier this week. It's hard to count numbers exactly, but we did have a pretty, if not record high turnout. One of the ways in which we kind of generally tell is we do have giveaways, right, for the first 400 residents. And typically, when moving up that last hour or so of the event is when we run out, or last 30 minutes, but we actually ran out much earlier. And so we had a great turnout, and people were, very much overjoyed. A lot of folks were very happy with the entire program. And actually, hopefully next year around this time, we'll then have the expanded parking lot. As I know, parking is always a bit of a challenge, but I did want to thank Trustee Rico and Trustee Morelli for helping guiding parking as well. So. And then, of course, we did present the scholarships tonight. You'll notice I mentioned part 1. We did have 8 winners. Only about half of them were able to make it tonight. We have another 3, maybe 4, coming in next month, as July worked a little bit better. So just as a heads up to the board, we'll probably do something similar next month. So if folks are interested in being part of pictures, if you could please arrive around 6:15 as well. And then as far as upcoming meetings and events, there's a few things. So one, we have 3 back-to-school fairs. One in Romeoville, this one will be at the Elation Center. The one in Lockport, we had scheduled it over at Delwood Park Community Center, again, because we are anticipating the parking lot construction. And then the final one is in Crest Hill. The City of Crest Hill office actually did recently present to their City Council a couple of weeks ago and made a proposal, being that the township, we currently have about 80%, a little over 80% of all Crest Hill residents in the township, which is a significantly larger percentage than Romeoville or Lockport. And so one of the challenges we faced last year or in the past few years is the average resident doesn't necessarily know what township they're in. And so we have folks from Crest Hill that are outside of the township that find out about the back to school fair and would really like to participate, and then we unfortunately have to turn them away. And it's a small number of residents relatively. And so what we proposed then to the City Council was if they would be willing to partner with us, meaning we would have the fair at City Hall, and then any folks that do call that are in Crest Hill from outside the township, if they would be willing to cover those expenses or those bundles. That way we don't turn away any residents. Residents don't need to know what township they're in. They're just fully covered, whether it's in the township or City of Crest Hill, and happy to report that they approved it. Oh, great. And so we have that coming up in July. And I bring this up here, I know it's during business hours, but of course any of the board members here are welcome to attend. And then 2 other items that I meant to include them on the agenda, but instead included a copy in everyone's packet. But of course, the Canal Days Parade is happening this Friday. I did include a copy of those notes in everyone's packet. But just to give everyone a heads up, for those that would like to walk in the parade, again, in our township capacity, if you could please meet at the building by no later than 4:30, and then around like 4:45, we like to be at the location by 5-ish is when we line up, and then of course the parade usually lasts a little under an hour. I know some folks still have their shirts from last year. The color we're hoping to wear this year is blue, so if you're able to wear your shirt, great. I know a couple of folks did order replacements, and so those are coming in, and we'll have those by Friday. That's the parade, and then another event. Again, I included the flyer in everyone's packet. So it's the Juneteenth celebration that's hosted by the Park District, and also it's in the Fairmont community. That'll be on Friday, June 19th at Aho Park from 4 to 7 p.m. We will have a table there. The township, Pinehart Consulting will also have a table there. We've gone every year. I will be there in attendance. Again, anyone here from the board is welcome to attend, either for the full event or part of it. The focus this year, the main reason we definitely would like to be there is, again, we have flyers that we'll be handing out to all residents, targeted, focused on the construction. And that is also why we'll have Kinehart there as well, so any questions you get from residents, we'll be able to answer them. And then I believe the Park District is having me give a little announcement, again, on this project as well. We really just want to, we really just want folks to know about this project through every avenue possible. Any final questions or comments from the board? If I can entertain a motion then to adjourn the Lockport Township regular meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Karen Johnson.
I'll second.
Second by Dion Wright. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The regular meeting is adjourned. And we do have the Road and Bridge agenda up next.
Got to push
No.
through.
Yeah. Usually first, but you're last this
I
time.
know. I have a note on here, but not so fast. Not so fast. Okay. But I do want to thank Commissioner Lausch for your patience. We had to move the other one forward because of the scholarships. And actually, we'll likely do that again next month, just as a heads up. Okay, so for Road and Bridge, first item on this agenda is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of May 12, 2026. I will need a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ronald Verico,
Second.
second by Karen Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to bills. I have bills in the amount of $129,699.47. Do we have any questions on the bills? Hearing none, if I can entertain a motion and a second to approve the bills.
So moved.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Dion Wright. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Sabia?
Yes.
Morale?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Abrico?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Motion carries. Do we have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to the Road and Bridge Fund? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to the Highway Commissioner's report. Commissioner Lausch, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Not a long report. Summer is in full swing. We're busy doing our summer projects. We've done our road maintenance. The rain always presents different challenges, culverts, and especially grass. So that's where we're at, and thank you.
Thank you. I have no other business for Road and Bridge. Anyone from the board have any final questions or comments?
I had one question. In the northern part of Fairmont where we've got the new roads last year, the year before, there have been a lot of utilities digging up the roads and they're leaving it with stones.
Yes.
Is that going to at some point get
So that's the city of Joliet. They continue to have to get into their infrastructure to fix water lines. And they promised me that they will have all that done by Juneteenth activities. So hopefully this week or next week we'll have it done.
All right, I do want to thank everyone. If I can entertain a motion, a second, to adjourn the Road and Bridge Fund meeting.
so moved?
I have a motion by Karen Johnson, second by Ronald Verico. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you all Friday.
Good sleep.